Big bitch energy.
Big bitch energy.
Hey, what's up? This is the Big Bitch Energy Podcast. Whoa, we got real deep with it today.
I know we did.
I'm your host, Sharon Palm, with
Sue's Ball Out.
Oh my gosh, where are we, Suze?
We're at the motherfucking Lincoln Lodge in
Check
Wicca
it.
Park.
Check it.
We have a new table. If you can't see, the table is beautiful. And it says Lincoln Lodge.
Everyone knows we're at Lincoln Lodge. And who are we with today? Oh my God.
Deanna Ortiz.
Can I talk now?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes, please.
Can I talk now? Hi.
Yes.
Hi,
Oh,
Deanna.
I couldn't wait 20 seconds.
No.
I was like, oh, God.
No, we want you to jump in as soon as we
you.
said
Yeah.
your name. That was
Hi.
perfect.
Hi,
Hi.
Deanna.
This
Deanna,
will be my fidget spinner for the...
Oh my God,
I
yes.
literally am like, I
can't
fold these
stop.
coasters like tacos.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Anywho.
Well, yes. Hello, Deanna, comedian extraordinaire.
Yes.
Yes.
Best stand-up of Chicago 2023.
Oh, yeah.
Bitches.
According to the
Chicago
Chicago
Reader.
Reader.
Ran to the
Yes.
Chicago Reader, the free magazine.
Listen, there's way more people that want free stuff than paying for them.
It's so
Yeah.
true.
I can't wait until the Trib does their best of.
Hey,
Yeah.
let's go.
Look, you're a comic for the people.
Thank you.
Yes,
For the
yeah,
people.
Exactly. And you have a wonderful podcast too.
Yes.
Called Crushes.
Yes.
Where can people find you? What's your Instagram? What's
Yeah.
everything?
Crushes you can find really anywhere you get podcasts. And my Instagram is at Deanna Ortiz _. And also all my links are on there, like Twitter and all that stuff. And then if you listen to the podcast, we play a game called Hot or Just Tall, and then you can vote along with the show at my Instagram or at Crushes Podcast on Instagram.
Hell yeah.
That's so fun.
Those are the hits.
You should absolutely follow Deanna because she posts stand-up reels, so you could see how funny
Yeah.
she is.
Yes.
I gave in. I really didn't want to. I didn't want to post stand-up reels, and then
But it's the future.
It really is.
It's the
really
future.
God, I know, but I
Yeah.
hate it too. It's fucking annoying. It's annoying.
And you know what?
me.
I'll boost my reels sometimes, and like I'll be the first to say it. I give money to Instagram. I love it. I get high returns off of all of my investments on Instagram.
Yo.
Yeah.
But like there is nothing as depressing than like scrolling and then seeing my ad get pushed back on me, and I'm just like, oh. This is what I'm paying for. It's exactly what, like, it's the real, and it's that, and I'm just like, this is disgusting. It's crazy.
Well, so I guess that's like a good segue into talking about being a big bitch. That's why you're here, is because you're a big bitch. We're big bitches.
Emphasis on the bitch.
Yeah, well, I was going to say maybe your bitch, I don't know. You know, bitch can mean anything.
Yeah.
But for you, it means actual bitch. Yes. Love it. Because, okay, so here we talk about body image, how we see ourselves, how we move about in our bodies, and posting yourself on the internet is hard for literally anyone, but I think it's definitely a lot more complicated when you live life like in a plus sized or a fat body or unconventionally attractive body. God, I hate that, but yeah. So how do you feel about putting yourself out there? Do you feel like you get a lot of like negative shit?
Yeah. I will just also say, like, that is one of the main reasons why I didn't want to post on social media. That I saw everybody posting, and I'm just like, I don't want, like, they say don't read the comments. And I'm like, I know this is what I have to do. I definitely don't want to do it. And it just took a lot to be like, I just have to do it. I will always be the one to, like, delete the comments before. I've gotten some comments, you know, about, like, what I look like or my size or just anything on top of the women aren't funny, which is always welcomed, which is great. But instead of like digging into it, I'm just going to delete it. I delete it. And then if they post again and they see that I delete it, I block them. Like there's just, it's because for them, they just comment and move on with their day. And for me, I'm stuck on it all day or maybe even for the rest of the week, especially if it's there. I'm just going to delete it. Like I just have to be mindful on that part because Instagram is my favorite place in the world. So like I don't want to be sad on there. So I'm like, I have to just do 100%. That for myself. And then at the same time, there's like the people who will comment and be like fetishy over
God,
over me or over plus size women in general, that I'm just like, well, I don't want that either. Like I want a compliment, but I don't want you to be like, that's this thick bit blah blah. I'm like, I don't want that.
You dummy thick.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Like comments on my butt are welcome in regular life, depending on who it's from. But it's like we're putting our comedy on the internet. I don't really need you to say anything about how I look. I just want to know if you think I'm funny or not.
Yeah. I don't even want you to tell me if you think it's funny. I just want you to like it and share it.
Totally. Totally.
I remember posting my first like stand-up clip on TikTok, and one guy commented like, notice how only the women were laughing, and I just wanted to be like, yeah, it was a mostly women crowd. Like, what the fuck? Like, but then I just deleted the clip because I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is
you mean women went out with their men?
Without a man? Scandal.
A man to escort her to the comedy club?
How high pitched were the voices? They're like, no men in that crowd. I know it. Like,
yeah, I know that. I mean, truly, I think one of my friends has like a very distinct laugh, like
Are you talking about me?
And Sharon was right in the microphone. Yeah. And that show, it is. It's. I mean, I do think that TikTok is a much more like safer space in terms of like not being mean, and maybe I'm just saying that because I don't post a lot on TikTok, but at least on Instagram, it's just like I know that what I want to do is like posting this stuff and getting views and having that, help my career. So I have to do this, and then deleting all the other shit that happens. And, sometimes, and people are trolls and doing it for a reason, and I have to keep reminding myself that. And I really don't like some comics you'll see that like give into it, and not just people that are commenting about like weight or anything like that. They're just commenting about like not funny.
Right.
Because some people give into it because they're just like, I want the traction on my reel. And I was like, at what cost?
Like I've seen that where people like provoke the people trolling or leaving nasty stuff, and I'm like, I want this to be a safe space for people who like my stuff too. You know what I mean? And so because I've had instances where like other people will comment like in my defense, and then they get fucking dragged. I mean, it's like a domino effect. I feel you. I commend you for having the self-control to like delete stuff, because I'll tell myself I'll delete it, but then I'm like, maybe if I just read it between my fingers, it'll change things.
It's like it has to be like the second it comes in, it's gone. Like I cannot, because that's the other thing is I was like, well, I want people to comment on it, so maybe I'll leave it. But then it's just like, I know it's there and it just eats at me, and I'm just like, I can't. And then every time I get a notification, and then the worst thing is to open it and see that other people have liked it, and you're just like, oh God, my nightmare come true.
No, 100%. That's also a nightmare.
Like, I can't do it.
And you have you have a considerable amount of content on your social media, and I think that's like so inspiring and motivating. I've only posted like there's only one reel on my Instagram because after a roast battle, nasty comments, that's expected. People inboxing me privately to say nasty stuff was not something that I was expecting. So after that, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready yet.
Yeah.
Roast battle was kind of scary because people that some people I have not talked to in like years and years and years were like, my mom was like, oh, I heard that you were on a roast.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's terrifying. No. Like, I don't want people.
I heard from so-and-so's mom that you did a roast.
Yeah.
Cooked a roast?
Yeah. I'm Arab, so that's scary for me because I'm like, what is like the Arab community going to think now when they see this?
What did they say?
Do you feel that way with your culture?
Not really. I don't know. Especially now, a lot of my content is kind of racy, but as in scandalous, not about race.
We should go back. Are you Mexican?
I'm Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Okay. Goddamn.
100% Puerto Rican.
Yes.
But that's awesome. So you're Puerto Rican descent. Your mom and dad both are Puerto Rican.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, but like we grew up in the suburbs, so like lots of white people. I don't really get that much pushback in terms of like cultural stuff. I do, although like we'll randomly get people that's like, did you go to Jacobs High School? Like very randomly people will like recognize me. People's friends will recognize me and be like, I kind of know you. That like it's a big enough town, like the suburb that I grew up in, but it also is so small town at the same time. Like, I was literally at a bar and someone was like, did you go to this high school? And I was like, no, I went to the other one. And they were just like, I know you. And then I was like, I think I know you. But not really like that, because even if there was like, I don't know, the Puerto Rican club, the Puerto Rican gossips.
Yeah.
I don't think that I give a shit, or my parents would even give a shit to be like, what do you care?
Yeah.
So would you say that like your parents or your family in general are pretty supportive and never like pressured you to look a different way or?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have had many struggles with my weight, especially growing up, but my parents have always been super supportive of everything that I'm doing. Like,
that's amazing.
What is it called? Like, especially, I was looking for the word for comedy. I was like, especially in comedy, they've always been super supportive. Like, yeah, and I have an older sister, younger brother. Like, I think most of it is just like me growing up in like the same era of like the early 2000s, and all my friends were like skinny white girls who were in like cheerleading and dancing, and then I was a cheerleader for a little bit, and just like always comparing, but not just comparing like body size, but like everything of like their house, my house, their hair color, my hair color, like all of it, because I was one of the only Puerto Rican Spanish people at my schools in general.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Comparison is poison.
Did you, this might be like a really weird question, but did you ever feel like you were kind of like biracial in that sense, because you grew up like with so many white people, and then you like went home and it was like, I mean, my house growing up was also very white as well. Like, we had Puerto Rican food. I don't speak Spanish. My parents rarely spoke Spanish to us in the house. They spoke Spanish to each other. But what a great way to keep things away from
oh my God, that's why they didn't teach us.
Yeah,
they're like yeah.
My parents would bust out in like old school Arabic, and I'd be like, that's not fair. Like, I didn't learn that Arabic. Like,
how is it different?
It's just way more formal.
Like a different dialect?
Yeah, very different. It's just different dialect. So like,
that's not fair.
Like, you have a different, like, so they would say the Quran Arabic. They would speak in that kind of Arabic, and I know the Lebanese dialect.
Well, when do you get to learn the Quran one so you can talk shit as an adult?
Yeah, no, I know. Exactly. I'm kind of glad I don't know it, just because it's so.
That is exactly what
formal.
they were doing, though. They were like, they wanted to talk shit about us in Spanish, and it worked. But I totally agree with that. That like, it did feel like a totally different world when I was like talking to other, like going to like my family's house in Chicago, like who are there was like a very Puerto Rican household, I would say, and then coming back to Algonquin, Illinois, you know, in like the suburbs, that like my upbringing was very white, so it has like taken a lot of time to like identify more with my culture, and combining the two of like this is gonna sound disgusting, but like the culture of being raised in Algonquin.
No,
there is a culture, and it's like, and it's the Algonquin Commons Mall.
Listen, I come from the burbs as well. Well, and it's interesting too, because like, yes, you're Puerto Rican, but your culture is American, because that's where you grew up, and your family grew up, and clearly, you know, I think so many parents just assume those suburbs, like that's where you want to raise your kids, that's where you want to put them, you know, even if they are the only person like in their, you know, in their demographic at school. It's like, I feel like they think that the pros outweigh the cons.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah. And they don't ever see it. Like, I mean, I definitely, I never felt othered there, like in terms of like, I'm Spanish, and all my friends are not, but it is just like, once you realize, now looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, there weren't a lot of Spanish kids at our school, and if they were, it was very cliquey. So like, it was incredibly cliquey at my school, so that there were, and especially in high school, there were Spanish kids, but they just like all hung out with each other, and I had gone to elementary school and middle school with all the white kids, so I just I was just in that group. But yeah, I mean, it's just not, at the time you don't think of it as anything different until you look back and you're like,
because that's your normal.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about like your fat origin story, or like, I guess the time in your life that you were like, oh, everyone's smaller than me, or you know, speak to that a little bit.
Yeah. Oh my God, it feels like, isn't it so sad that it's like forever? I mean, coming from a Puerto Rican household, like we always eat all the time. It's like so rude to turn away food. It's so rude to like not finish the plate or to not like accept more when it's offered. That I think that's always been ingrained in me. My mom also, I remember, like, weird shit sticks with me. My mom said once, like, Deanna loves food. I love how happy she is when she eats. And I was just like, oh my God. But like in like she didn't mean it in a in a mean way. She just meant it like she just enjoys food so much. And I did want to be a chef when I was younger, so I was just like, that tracks.
Yeah.
But
my mom would not have meant that in a nice way. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah,
neither would have my mom.
Like, it just never would have, like, and I was also so young, but I was just like, it just never would have. I don't know the way, like, she never meant it in a bad way, but it just always stuck with me. And I was like, I guess I do. And that was then all somehow became my personality of just like, I do remember being at like a birthday party and looking back at the pictures from that party, and every single picture I was eating. And I was like, am I fat? Like that.
Oh my God.
I was maybe like,
oh my gosh.
Maybe this was in our old house. I moved when I was 9, so maybe I was like 7 or 8, and I was like, am I fat? Like, it was like the first like realization of like, wait, what? And then I think it was also like doctor's office. Golly, doctor's office always. I remember there was like I was in elementary school, and a doctor basically told me, she was like, you're overweight and you need to lose weight, and basically explaining it to me. Like, now looking back, I was like, that's so fucked up to tell a fourth grader, but I just remember like at that point it was like, oh, interesting, it's everybody sees it, it's not just in my head. To then, I mean, now I'm much more better about advocating for myself when doctors will be like, well, did you try doing this? I'm like, I actually did try doing this.
Yeah.
Like, there was I had this horrible thing, this is a sidetrack, but this horrible thing happening at the doctor, and I called, and it just kept coming back, and I was like, listen, like, what can I do to get rid of this? And she was like, well, you know, you might want to try losing some weight, because then, like, it was like these abscesses that kept coming back on my skin, and they were so painful, like I'd have to take off work. It was a nightmare. And I was like, well, I've been fat my whole life, and this has just started a couple weeks ago, so I don't think that's the issue of like being able to advocate for yourself. But it does start at such a young age that I think, going back to the origin story, like, clothes was really big. Like, I never could find clothes at like the cool stores like Hollister or Abercrombie.
Oh my
like,
God, totally.
And it just was like recently that I was like, I can buy jeans at a store, and like, or like, I couldn't imagine going into Abercrombie and Fitch or American Eagle and buying jeans. Like,
it's like
when
you're
I was
speaking
young.
to my soul right now.
It's crazy.
It truly, like, I have said the same thing to doctors too, where I'm like, okay, well, I've been fat my whole life. This is not what started it. So
I've lied to doctors and been like, I've lost 20 pounds actually, so
How do you
it's not
feel
helping.
now?
Not helping. I don't give a
100%.
shit.
Yes. Yeah, it's fun. And then like, always with clothes, I remember like being in the shopping in the junior section, like way before any of my other friends were. My mom was like, there are a bunch of girls that shop in this section. Like, don't feel, because I would be like I would be like crying to my mom about how like, I don't want to, you know, I'm fat and I don't want to wear these clothes, and these clothes aren't the ones that my friends are wearing. And all my friends were like so thin and like just, you know, dancers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, there are a bunch of girls in your grade that wear these clothes. Like, you're not the only one.
Like,
this
bitch,
is just,
I go to school with them. I
I know,
they
and
don't.
I'm just like, yeah, but they're not the cool kids, and I'm cool. No.
Yes. So can I ask how old you are?
I'm 30.
Oh, you're 30. Okay, so we all kind of grew up similar time. Like, those early mid 2000s fashion was so not for the plump girlies. Like, it wasn't like low rise.
The flare.
And also, I mean, I feel like jeans accommodate like curvier shapes now, but I remember growing up and being like, I have a butt, I have hips, and like, I either had to get pants that were slightly too big that I have to like wear a belt, because like, even if they fit on my legs, like they wouldn't fit over my butt, or there'd be that weird gap in the back. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I feel like, and then you see all your friends look so good in these clothes, and you're like, fuck.
Especially like changing, like at like gym, when we start changing and stuff. Like, I remember I would wear like shapewear in high school to like look in a certain, and then I was like embarrassed to like have shapewear on when I was changing for gym, and I'm just like, why am I now looking back, I'm like, why am I doing this? And just being so uncomfortable.
It's because body positivity wasn't a thing until like 2015.
Yeah.
So back then it's like, yeah, I have to hide because people are going to make fun of me.
And then I look back at pictures from like high school and I was just like, oh my God, I was like, I would die to look like that.
Yes, that's like a universal thought, I feel like.
Yeah. No,
I look back on pics too and I'm like, God damn it, if I looked like this now, it'd be over for everybody. Like it would be over. Like you could handle it.
That's the other thing that I have to like remind myself now, that like when I look at pictures and I'm like, give this a year, and then look back and be like, wow, what a dish. It's just such a hard mindset to put in yourself, because like you can see pictures of your friends, and like I know everybody talks about this, but it's like you can see pictures of everybody else and be like, that looks amazing. Like hot pictures of your friends where like their legs are out and it's just like, oh, that's just like all that, like I just want to grab it. It's so meaty. And then it's like, well, not mine.
Not mine.
No.
Yes. I used to volunteer at an old folks home like years and years ago, but I'll never forget a woman that I used to like hang out with all the time there. She was like, I worried so much about looking good that I never actually got to enjoy my beauty at the time. And she was like, I just wish I could go back in time and just tell myself, yo, like you're fine, like you look good. She didn't say yo, I don't know why.
Coolest grandma ever.
I
wish I could go back in time and say yo bitch.
Yo bitch. No, but she was like just like appreciate your beauty for what it is now. She's like, regardless if you're fat or thin or in the middle, she was like, there's gonna come a time, if you're lucky, that you're gonna get old like me, and you're gonna wish that you appreciated your body at the time. And that's something that's always stuck with me.
I don't know about you guys, but I look back at those photos and when I like, exactly the same thing, I'm like, oh, actually, like I wasn't as big. But I'm like, those voices and those thoughts weren't mine. They were other people's, and like the expectation of what I should look like. Instead of like me just ignoring that and being like, no, I feel good about no one says like love yourself for you. Everything was like, no, change to fit the expectation
100%.
of,
or they all like they veil it and be like, it's about your health, and I'm like, no, it's actually about your fat phobia. Honestly.
I mean, I don't ever remember a time in high school especially where I was just like, I feel great about what I'm doing right now. Like it was, and that's, I mean, I'm sure everybody feels that way, and regardless of what you're dealing with in terms of like weight or anything. But I was just like, there was never a time where I was just like, I feel cool and chill and like happy with what I'm doing. I was always just like, who am I going to see at lunch, and what is this guy going to say, and is he going to think this shirt is cute, and am I wearing enough makeup, and like all of this stuff. And like, is my hair waved in the right way?
Right.
Yes.
I think that when I like really truly surrounded myself with the right people, that's when I got so comfortable and like calmed down so much. I was like not cool in high school at all. And then once I got into theater in college, that's when I was like, man, I am cool. What the fuck?
Yes.
I think it definitely took at least getting into my 20s, early 20s before I could actually just like relax. And even now, I mean, even then it was still just like a lot, because I was always just like trying to, I'm going to do this to lose weight. I'm going to do this to like number one queen of, the trying everything.
What's
literally
like
done everything.
What's like the worst diet you were ever on?
The cayenne lemon.
Oh my God.
I've done it. I get
Everything.
It was Beyonce did it, is why I did it.
Yeah. And I'll do anything she tells me to do. I did that for a little bit. And it was like, I was at home. I was like sneaking this weird pepper lemonade that I would keep in the garage from my parents. Like,
it was kind of good, but not a meal.
Yeah. And like,
you were hiding it from your parents? Were you afraid
100%.
that they were going to be like, what are you doing?
Absolutely. I would also like buy like diet pills online. I tried to like buy diet pills or steal diet pills from Walmart. Sorry, Walmart. I know you guys have it
don't be
rough.
sorry.
I'm so sorry, Walmart.
No.
Like stealing diet pills, and like I had other friends who were kind of in the same, that like I would ask her to be like, oh, do you think you can buy me this? Like, because they wouldn't send it to me because I wasn't 18. I was like 16 trying to
Hydroxycut was the popular one.
Dude.
Yeah, it was like people were like putting them in little baggies, be like, here you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would take Hydroxycut before high school or before school, and then like go and like run a mile. Like
on an empty stomach.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And a lot of that becomes like the norm to then like in my 20s, I'm like, oh, I guess I can just like do this again. Like I started Jenny Craig when I was like 13, 14, that like, I was like, I know that I could buy a bottle of Hydroxycut and like maybe lose weight. I know that I could like go back on Jenny and maybe do this. Like it's all these like fashion diets that work for a little bit, and then when you're out of it, you're like, well, I guess I could do that. I know it was bad. There's always something in my head that's like, this is bad. But then there's a louder part that's like, but it works.
But a lot of them, they give that instant gratification.
Yeah.
And it took me literally the last 15 years to take it slow and steady to like lose weight in a healthy way. Not because I'm trying to like appeal to anybody else, but because I'm like, no, this is what's gonna be good for me to like reshape my relationship with food and not be doing these crash diets just because I want like that week later, like, oh yeah, I dropped 8 pounds. Like, no.
Right, yeah.
Well, I did Advocare. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one, but it was like terrible. Like I ate 5 eggs in the morning and then oatmeal, and then would eat like, I don't know, a little piece of bread to keep me going. But I think that what sucked was I was like losing weight and people were like, oh my God, you look so good. Yeah. This is so cool.
Yeah.
Like
it's that reinforcement.
And I was like, I'm miserable. Like I'm miserable. I'm eating 5 eggs a day.
What is the saying? It's nothing tastes as good as skinny feels.
Yeah.
I used to have that written down and on my mirror.
Because
I know, because I wanted to believe it. You know? And then one of the worst diet pills I ever took was Allied. Did you either of you take Allied? Oh my God. Because it was like you couldn't, if you surpassed, what was it, like 15 grams of fat, oh my God, your body would waterfall. I'm just gonna put it like that.
Your ass would leak.
Yes.
Leaky shit.
It was the first time I ever pooped myself in public.
It was wild.
Anyway.
Proved yourself,
but it was approved by the FDA.
Yes,
and that's why I got it.
Oh my Lanta!
It is insane. It is really crazy.
So, your parents being supportive of how you look, they were never like, you need to lose weight, Deanna, or like, oh, you're a little plump there. You don't need second helpings of this. But do you think they ever picked up that you were like doing these diets or taking these pills? Like, were they ever like, what's going on with you?
My mom did do Jenny Craig with me when we like, she was like, let's do this together. Like,
you're so lucky. My mom like dropped me off at Weight Watchers. She's like, go have fun. I'm like, no.
Sad. No, she did do it with me. She's a very nice lady.
Are you both similar?
Carmen, I know you're watching this.
Carmen. Do you both have similar body types?
No, not at all. But she, I think, also definitely was like the same as a lot of women, like wanting to lose weight and wanting to look good. She does a lot of she got into like exercise when I was in high school, and like she will do crazy diets sometimes, and we have to like take a step back and be like, what are you doing? Like, do you really think in your head you know you shouldn't be drinking 5 smoothies a day and that's it? And she's like, yeah, I know. And I was like, then why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Because this person said it'll work. But we started doing Jenny Craig together when I was really young, and that was like, you know, to hold each other accountable, which like is great, but at the same time it's like, you're my mom and I'm 14, and so there was already
so
like tension,
different.
a lot of tension on there, especially when like I wanted to fall off of like the plan that we were doing, or like not cheat, but like if I wanted to like eat a piece of bread, or like I do remember this time that we were like we were having dinner, and then we were getting ready for dinner, and I was eating a piece of bread, and my mom was like, I was like, oh, this bread is so good, and she's like, yeah, it's good, but we can't have a lot, and I just lost it on her. I think she just meant it like, yeah, it's so good, but like we can't. I don't know what she meant it as, but I like threw the bread at her, and I was just like, I can't eat a single fucking thing without you criticizing. And she doesn't criticize. She's never criticized, but I was like, God, I just feel like I'm always being watched, because like I have this person who's supposed to hold me accountable now, like tracking to make sure, like, did you eat this? Did you have this today? Did you do this? And I was like, I just can't.
It makes you feel like you're under a microscope.
Yeah. And then like, I mean, and it wasn't on like her at all. You know, she's doing the same thing with me and just wanting to be like, oh, we're holding each other accountable and all this stuff. But I think the mix of that and being so young was just like, oh God, I can't do anything.
Well, and also let's not, ignore the fact that a teenage body going through puberty has considerably different dietary needs than someone who's like 20, 30 years older than you.
Yeah.
And you're gonna lose weight in different ways, and you're gonna need to, like, eat a fucking piece of bread. You need carbs. You need carbs.
Yeah,
you do need them.
And then I think that also like then stemmed out to like, oh, once I was able to drive, done.
Oh my God.
Done. Hiding, eating in my car.
Yep.
Hiding, eating late at night.
Yep.
Like fast food,
Yep.
go to. Like that was like my favorite, and it still is my favorite thing to do, eat in my car. But like that is definitely was like, oh, I can do this, and I'm alone, and I'm making my own money, so I can buy whatever the hell I want.
We've talked about this previous episode. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, like having a car. Really, I think I almost like would rebel.
That's why I got fat. No,
yeah, well, for me, kind of personally, you know what I mean? Because it was like I can go to Taco Bell, and then that made you cool. Like I can go pick up Crunchwrap Supremes during our lunch break and bring them back for everyone, or like, and it was just well, and I come from like a different family background where we. Very dysfunctional. My dad did not buy groceries, so being able to drive and just eat whatever I want all the time, and no one knew. That was the sweet spot. No one knew. It was my secret, and it took so long to realize, like, no, like I shouldn't have to eat in secret.
Yeah.
My parents my dad moved to Maui like when I was in my junior year of high school, and so we eventually had to go there, and I didn't have a lot of control with anything, but the thing I could control was food.
Totally.
And so I specifically remember the Panda Express was in the same parking lot as Walmart. So I'd go through the drive-thru, get Panda Express, sit in the Walmart parking lot, and like cry over my food. No. But it was so therapeutic.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, I'm feel good. This is like instant dopamine. Like,
how do you feel about Panda Express now?
Oh, I love it.
I will still
shrimp,
eat
it in my car.
Because like a lot of the stuff that I was eating as like a teenager now feels like so nostalgic to me, especially like, oh, there's like the giant McDonald's iced coffee that's like mostly cream and like hazelnut. I was like, I'm 17. Like, that's all I need. Yeah, or like
100%.
Lots of.
Oh, so sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was just curious about what the Jenny Craig diet was about, because I feel like that was one of the ones that I did not.
I was going to say
on.
the same thing. Same.
It's expensive.
That's exactly why.
Yeah. It is expensive. They like give you, and it's my story with Jenny Craig is so crazy. I did Jenny, and then I got off of it, and then I did it again, and I lost a lot of weight, and then I ended up working at a Jenny Craig for a little bit.
Wow.
Like in my 20s, I was like a counselor, and I was like, what am I doing here? This is crazy.
You were a Jenny Craig counselor?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, it was so weird for like a day.
Okay.
And I was like, this sucks. I mean, I was there for maybe like 2 months, and then I was like, I hate this. And I was also like, these people aren't going to be taking advice from a 22-year-old. Like, why am I here? But the program is like, you go in and you get like a set amount of food for the next week or two, and they give you breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack.
Oh, so it's kind of like
Nutrisystem.
It's exactly like Nutrisystem.
Okay.
Yeah, only Nutrisystem is shelf stable, that it doesn't need to be frozen. But I know I've never had Nutrisystem, but I know a lot about diet.
I used to go get my food from a box. Like that was Nutrisystem.
Yeah.
You just go pick it up from the box and you put it in the microwave.
Yeah, and like that's what I was doing, but it was like frozen food. Or you could go and like. There are a lot of people when I was working for them that were like on maintenance, which is just like, I just want a couple. There was a woman who would come in every week and just buy 24 of the cheesecakes. And that's all she did. So it was like, you can just go in, and if you pay for the program, you can get whatever you want. But the food is diet food. Like it's small. The idea is to like get you to eat smaller portions, and then you can like teach yourself how to do it. Does that work? I don't know. I had a lot of success with it in like when I was like right out of high school, beginning college. But I also think it was like I was working out a lot, and I had 2 jobs, and I was always moving around, and it was just like a totally different mindset.
So do you think like, so this is probably a better way to phrase this question. Like I personally, even though I'm trying to lose weight for health reasons, I also don't think my body is meant to be thin. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you feel like I feel like some people are like, no, I feel like everyone's meant to be thin. Like that your body's not meant to hold this much weight. But I'm like, I don't know. I feel like a naturally comfortable, healthy weight for me would still be overweight to a lot of other people.
I've had so many people with that same perspective of just like, you can try everything, but at the end of the day, your body is going to like rest at something that's kind of comfortable for it. And if that's me right now, that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. It's just like, I've recently lost a lot of weight, and then over like the past year and a half, to then eat all the same stuff that I'm trying to do now isn't working. And I'm just like, well, I think this is where I'm just like at, like, which is fine. I guess I could, if I really, really wanted to, work out super hard and do all that stuff. And yes, then technically a body could lose weight.
Yes.
But like, is that practical for people? No. So I definitely agree with that. Do I have to remind myself of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Well, I think all of our bodies plateau.
Yes.
You know,
there
we
you
just
go.
plateau. And then that's like, I don't know. I hate the thought of being like, okay, well, now I have to change my calorie deficit because I need to lose more weight, but that means I take less calories in. And then you're just like, what the fuck am I doing?
The crazy thing is that it would be so easy for me to fall right back into that of like, because I've lived so much in my early 20s on like a tracker. Sorry, I hit the mic stand. On like a tracker or writing down like a food journal or calories in, calories out. I've lived so much of my life like that it's taken so long to like get off of it. But I think, and I know it would be incredibly easy for me to just be like, I want to lose 10 pounds. So like, I know exactly what to do, even though it is the most toxic thing for me to do.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. And what's interesting too is that for a long time, I correlated like if I was lazy or not with how hard I was trying to lose weight. But now that I'm like older and wiser, I'm like, no, I was never lazy.
Yeah.
But then I have talked to other people who are like, no, I was definitely lazy.
I think I'm lazy, but I think everybody's lazy. Like,
bit, right?
I don't, they're like, oh, you're just not motivated. I'm like, who is motivated to go to the gym?
No.
I don't know. What do I want? I want to sit on my couch and watch Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
If I wanted to be ultra mega fit so badly, I think I kind of would go to the gym. Maybe I would go for a walk. I don't know. I love being lazy.
I read this book, Laziness Does Not Exist, and like basically the essence of the book is like, well, I'm sorry that I live in a fucking capitalistic world that pushes me to just do more and more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
And recently I had this talk with my therapist where she was like, okay, maybe like we should stop taking such big steps and start taking little steps because that's what we can achieve those a little bit more instead of like, because we just can't like,
that's so
like how are you going to achieve something that's like so far up that you're like, okay,
I want to lose 50 pounds. Okay, well, I'm going to go for I'm going to make sure I go for a walk at least 2 times this week. Like breaking it down into that is so much more easier than being like, I have this goal of like these jeans that have been in the back of my closet for forever, or do I have a goal that's like, let me get my steps to 100,000 for, or not 10,000. That's psychotic.
100,000 for the day,
like,
babe. I thought you were gonna say for the week,
for the year.
And then I'm also like, I'm lazy. No, let me get like 10K steps in like 2 times a week, 3 times a week, and then building from there.
Because there's different ways to love your body and care for it, and some days that's sitting and watching Gilmore Girls, and other days that's taking that walk.
So also like I'm not lazy in the terms of like maybe my steps are at like 2 today, but also I got so much shit done on my computer. It's just like recontextualizing.
I was literally just gonna say, like, in my eyes, I see you as like a hustler, like
Totally.
you hustle, and it's not like, like you're a hard worker.
Yeah.
So
I should get one of those mats that you walk on. Oh, and I'm so influenced.
I have a stepper.
Do you use it?
TikTok made me buy it. I do use it.
Do you like it?
More in the winter. I didn't really use it much this summer, but probably because I was just out and about more. Yeah. But like in the winter when weather is shitty, like I can just watch TV and just kind of do it. I can get super stoned and do it. Be like, sometimes I don't try that hard at it, and then I just tell myself, well, at least I did it for an hour. You know what I mean? And then other days I'm like, and I have like resistance bands that are attached to it. And so like sometimes when I'm so depressed, I'm like, okay, I can just like slide this out from under my bed and just do it for like 20 minutes.
I'm gonna get one of those.
I do like it.
I'm gonna be so honest and vulnerable with you guys when I tell you that I did buy the hula hoop exercise.
I also have the.
It's so bad. I love it.
No, but you should tell Sharon how to use it because it's not working. It doesn't work with her.
What did you do?
Deanna's like, wait.
Do you?
Okay.
And I'm also doing it. I'm like, am I an amazing hula hooper?
I never was.
Yeah.
But yeah, for anyone who's listening who doesn't know what an infinity hoop is, it's a hoop that you go around your waist, and it removes itself in notches, which is supposed to indicate to you if you lost 2 inches off your waist, which is like their biggest selling point, right? But the thing is that there's a weighted ball that hangs from it, and the workout is keeping it up. I can't keep it up. LOL. I can't keep it up. And like I've watched like YouTube videos and like, oh, like maybe make it longer and it'll be easier. Because if the shorter it is, the harder it is. And I'm just like, I feel like maybe I'm fucking stupid. Like I just can't. And I'm like, I'm really try, you guys. And I'm
grinding this shit out. Okay, where does it sit on your body? Is it like at your waist, and how tight is it on your waist? I'm a doctor, by the way.
Dr. Deanna.
I get a kickback from the infinity hoop.
I put it at my waistline. Yeah. Maybe a little bit lower, and it's not super tight, but it's not loose either. It just sits right there.
Yeah.
I still have it, obviously. It costed money.
I know exactly what part of the ground of my living room it's on. I'm like, it's underneath the couch over there. Yeah.
So you use it.
I use it.
Did you do it like every day? Because their whole advertisement was use it for 30 days and lose a link.
Yeah.
You know, or your money back or whatever the fuck.
Now that we brought it up, like I have not seen an ad for that in so
you will now because we're talking about it and your phone is nearby.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I mean,
I don't think it works. I'll say that. I don't think it works, but I love my little hula hoop, and it's so fucking loud. The thing is like
shut up.
I'm also gonna. I know you probably have already tried it.
Why do you like it if it doesn't work?
Because it makes me feel like I'm doing something.
Okay.
And if you really get it going, and if I'm wearing my Apple Watch, it'll count it as a workout. And so I'm like, I'm not doing shit. But like, also on one note, and maybe you've already done it before, but sometimes I really have to bend my knees to get the thing going.
Oh, I look so stupid. I'll have to like do a little video and post it. I'll just embarrass myself for the people. Okay, just so like you could see. Maybe you do a comparison with me and you show people how to use it.
I'm using it and I'm cooking. I'm doing the dishes.
But you know, I looked into it because I did try to use it for 30 days and I was like, I wonder if I could get my money back. The fine print on that thing is like you have to record, you have to have video proof that you did it every day for 30 days and then prove that you didn't lose any additional inches for them to refund your money. Yeah, they make it real hard for it, but that's their whole getcha is like if you don't lose a link, you get your money back. And that thing's like $80 and I paid for it 4 payments with a firm. Okay.
I think I bought a ripoff on Amazon.
Damn it! I really should have fucking done that.
But TikTok is like the QVC now. It's just like it's a shopping network.
I do want to get one of those tracking pads that you just like walk on.
I've seen that. Yeah.
I'm like, would I use this? No. Do I want it? Yes.
Well, I see people using it like as like a off, like work from home, walk on. But I'm like, I would be staring down the whole entire time, making sure I don't fall. So I can't see.
But everybody says that you're like, you just get used to it. And I also don't know how I would feel comfortable like walking and then also like typing, and I just feel like so weird doing that. But everybody, that question gets asked so many times, and I looked into it because I had that question, and everybody's like, you just figure it out, like you just kind of like know that it's there.
So it's like tapping your head and like rubbing your stomach. You just, like, get
I
used
can't
to,
do
like,
that, but I can't do it. One of the ads I saw for that was people standing at their desks. It was like, oh, we're already all standing because it's better for you. Now walk and work. And I was just like, what? You know, I almost caved and bought the DB method. Have we heard of that?
No.
So the DB method it's like a squat machine, where it kind of looks like you're getting on a bike, like you mount something, and then it's like the handles, and then there's a seat under you, and then you squat.
Oh,
and
I hate that. I don't even know what it looks like, and I absolutely hate it.
But I just like I almost look it up. I almost caved and bought it because I was seeing ads for it for months, and I was watching all the tutorial, or all the testimonial videos, and I was like, damn, like. But then I had this aha moment where I was like, I could just fucking squat. I don't know.
This is $300.
I was just gonna.
I know. That's why I said almost. I didn't.
So this is what
do it.
Hey, but it'll only be 20 easy payments with a firm.
Jesus Christ.
This is what it looks like.
Yeah.
No.
I'll squat.
Yeah,
but
like,
then I was like, oh,
it.
it'll be nice to have like that someone spotting you as you go down. Then that's like, but I
Sorry.
I know. You can justify it all you want, Sharon.
I didn't get it. So I'm not,
No,
I
so
came to my
glad.
senses. But it's just, even though we're talking about like, how we've all like come out of succumbing to fad diets and things like that. I mean, we still do. We got that fucking hoop. You know what I mean? Like it's going to happen sometimes.
Yeah, because it does. I mean, especially because in the way it's marketed to you, it's like a quick fix or whatever, and like never leave the house. And it's like I do still pay $10 a month to Planet Fitness, so like I'll go there sometimes. But it's like, making it easier is something that people always try and pitch to people. That's like, oh, you can just like, have you ever just tried, not eating breakfast or like intermittent fasting? Everything that gets pitched to fat people is just like, hey, we're gonna make it easy for you. And it's like, it's not about that. It's not about being easy.
And I also like, I think there's something important to talk about too, how there's like varying degrees of size in the a bigger body plus size community, whatever. And I didn't really realize this, but there is something called small fat.
Oh, great.
Right. I'm like, okay. And then there's like mid size.
Yeah.
And then like plus size. And I was
that's where I think the body positivity inclusivity has gone too far.
Right, because
thank you.
now they're just turning it. Now I feel like now it's coming back around.
Yeah.
It's like what? But I was talking to someone recently because I've had a nutritionist for the last several months, and they were like, "Oh my God, Sharon, you're like not even that fat, or like I don't even see weight on you." I'm like, you don't.
Okay. Yeah.
When I look at you, I don't see a fat person.
I have a nutritionist. I used to have a nutritionist, and I loved her. She was incredible.
She's all right. She's kind of annoying sometimes.
Mine doesn't work as a nutritionist anymore because she moved to another project. But if she did, I would totally set you up with her because she's incredible.
Okay.
What made her so incredible?
She was just the best. We just totally got on, and like truly I turned her into my therapist, and she was like, that's not me, but of like she really did help with a lot of like thinking of like not stressing about when the next meal is, and like planning things out was big, and like knowing like I have this and this and this in my house, because for a long time I didn't have any food in my house because then I would binge eat it and then like get right. And she's like, buy the food that you want to eat, like chips or this or that, and eat until you are full. And if that is like, that was the biggest thing of like not binging. I'm like, but binging is so much fun.
It is.
Oh God, I fucking love
favorite.
it.
So nice.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So she and like
it sounds like she was saying like use it for fuel, not to like
And she did. I did write. She didn't want me to keep it for a journal. She was like, I don't want you to do this all the time, but I just want you to write down the stuff that you're eating so that I can take a look at it and like all that stuff. So another thing that I always, and I still kind of do, sorry Morgan, is like if I know I'm going out that night, I won't eat for the whole day, and then I'll just like totally gorge later that night, or like after that night, like really go hard. And then she's like, you need to eat like a normal day, like pretend like nothing is happening, right? So have your breakfast, have lunch, and if you know that you're going out for dinner, just let that be part of it, and don't let it consume your whole day. And I was like, it's not consuming my whole day. And she's like, it is. I'm like, oh, you're right. Okay,
well,
great.
like people that do food competitions, they eat throughout the day because it stretches your stomach out.
Crazy.
But when you don't eat, your stomach gets smaller and then you get fuller faster.
Man.
So that's, like, but I do the same thing. I'll wait. And like if I have like something later on, like my boyfriend and I were going to go to a steakhouse. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not going to eat all day.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to eat steak
Get my
later.
money's worth.
Yeah, exactly.
The steak.
Exactly.
I mean, we used to do that in high school. We'd like get super stoned and we're not eating all day because we're going to go to the Chinese buffet.
Yeah. Yep.
And go eat as much food as humanly possible.
Excuse me. Sorry.
I do want to talk about dating because I mean, that's kind of like
Well, because you mentioned earlier that it's like, okay, there's the nasty comments on your content online, but then there's also people fetishizing you.
Yeah.
And I've been fetishized for the jelly, and so let's talk about that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard sometimes to like see like what, because I mean, I don't know. The ass is part of the package, I guess. So, like, if you like that, you like a lot of other stuff about it too. So it's hard to gauge, like, what is, like, who is this person that's like, I love big girls, and then the other person is just like, I just want to, I like you and your ass. Yeah, you know, like, because am I fetishizing men when I'm just like, oh, I love strong arms? Like, is that a fetish, or am I just like, you know, I'm not looking for a bodybuilder, but I'm like, that's hot to me. Like, what is that? And then it's also to be like, okay, a lot of people will see me and think like Latina and put in all these other things on top of it that I'm just like, I literally just wrote a joke about this. Like, I can't explain to you how much whiteness I have in me. Like, it's hard for me to really get that across.
I know you're about to be in me, but it was already there.
Yeah, because honey, they're all white. No.
Do you tell people that you're a stand-up comedian? Like, do you have that in your dating profile?
No, but I do have it. I have some pictures of me doing stand-up. So if they know, like, if they recognize the background, then they'll kind of know. A lot of people will be like, is this karaoke? And I'm like, no. Yeah. I did have somebody recently say that he was at a show, and that happens every once in a while, and I would prefer them tell me that they know instead of them being like, so, like, when we go out and then they'll be like, oh yeah, I've seen you before, or like quote something at me, and I'm like, I don't want that.
I don't like that. I don't like that either. I don't like that
creepy,
either.
to be honest.
A lot of people, when I do tell them I do stand-up, you know, doing stand-up in Chicago, I have a very unique name, especially just my first name. It's very easy to find me. But it's kind of like a gauge. Like, if I tell them I do stand-up, and a lot of times they're like, that's so cool, I'm going to find you. And I'm like, don't. And then they find me, and then I never speak to them again. Like, it's just like, they'll either like come back and be like, that was really funny. Like, they want to keep the conversation, or they'll go and be like, no.
Yeah. I met my boyfriend at an open mic.
Oh my God, really?
And
is he a comic, or is he a normie?
He's a comic.
It's okay.
It's fine.
It's fine.
No, I remember, like, I was like, I think this dude likes me. And I was like sitting in my car and I was like, no, he's a comedian. Don't do it.
I remember when you told me, you were like, ugh, I don't know. Do I even? And I was like, Suze, come on.
When we stop, you have to tell me who it is. I'm going to die.
Okay. He has the same last name as you.
He does.
Yeah.
Oh, I just put that together.
I don't think you guys have met or anything.
No, I don't think we have it. I always know an Ortiz when I see one. Yeah. Is he Mexican?
He's from El Salvador.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's so interesting how this last name gets around. We love to get different places. But I'm so upfront with them. I'll tell them, because, like, to me, I'm like, that is it's literally who I am. That like and it's partially the reason why I am still I'm not gonna say that, that's crazy, not why I'm still single, but like it's really hard for me to meet people because I'm always out late or at a show or doing this or doing that
Have you tried to date other comics?
I haven't. It's really bad, and I don't recommend it. You don't do it.
I don't recommend it either, and I'm still dating one.
You can fuck the comics, you can't date the comics.
I was just gonna say, even the ones I've just fucked, I wouldn't.
No,
recommend it.
On the very first date with my boyfriend, I was like, these are all the things of why I didn't want to date you, and
amazing.
And this is why
this is why it'll never work.
Yeah, and I was like, this is what you're not gonna do. You're not gonna say anything about me on stage unless it's approved by me. And I like set out the rules from date one.
Here's A, B, C. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it was very Arab of me.
I love
He probably thought that was hot.
Yeah.
He's like, tell me what I can't do.
He grew up with just like Latino women, so I think it didn't really catch him off guard.
Yeah, he was like, no, this is what
he was ready. He was ready.
And I go, yes, thank you. Absolutely.
But I will say, there are so many good examples of people, who met another I mean, the pair of them got married recently. Another pair about to get married. I mean, I feel like sometimes, it's hard. It's hard. Yeah. Of course, you're gonna do stuff with people you're around the most.
I do think we cut you off too.
Oh no!
Oh, my bad.
What were you gonna say?
It was basically just of that, of like dating comics. We were talking about dating comics, and then
your dating profile that you don't put that you're a comic on there, but you do have some cues.
Oh yeah, like I was seeing some guy that I really liked. I thought he was really cool. Blah, so earnest.
Oh my God, you have feelings.
He was a normie, and we would be texting, and he's like, when can you hang out again? And I'm just like, in 3 weeks, or this specific Tuesday after 9:00.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. But like, I know I did date a comic for a really long time, and it just gets really like, he's not a comic anymore because I won. But
I love how you dabbed that moment. That was so beautiful.
It was dab worthy.
It's very difficult to like, and it especially in just the way that comics are, of like, what shows are you doing tonight? Who books that? Like, how did you get that? Like, you know, and the nastiness of being a stand-up in that way of like, even if it's someone that you really love and you know, of like, it just happens that like one career and the thing is that it was never between me and him. It's never, they're never looking at us and being like, we're choosing you over you. Right. It's never that. He's a white guy, you know, it's always going to be me. But that like, that's really hard for especially, you know, comics to get, and I'll just say it, male comics to get, of like, I do the hustle, I do the grind, why am I not getting this stuff? And I'm not saying that's how my ex was at all, but that is another reason why I do not want to date another comic, because I know that the kind of people that I'm interested in are just like that same type of like comic as that I am, that's like, what's next, how can we get more, I want what you have and I'm gonna get, you know, of just that like, it's just for me and a lot of other comics, I think, like ingrained in us to be like, oh, I want that person's getting this, I deserve this too. I hustle just as hard. That it's really,
remember when I said comparison is poison?
It is.
Yeah. I definitely had to set some really strong boundaries.
Totally.
Like, we're very separate in the way that we do comedy, and look, I lucked out so much because we're both not competitive with each other. And also like people are always like, who's funnier, and we're both like, both of us. Like, you know, really there isn't like a I don't think I'm funnier than him, and he doesn't think that he's funnier than me.
I need to be the funniest one in the relationship, and that's why I date normies.
I don't care. I want to laugh. I want to have a good time. You know, I want to, and that doesn't mean that you're not going to if you date a normie. But I just, I didn't care about that. I just had to, and sometimes I'm like, okay, girl, is this your ego or is this you? Like, what is, you know, where is this coming from? I was asking if you, because I feel like sometimes like being the big girl also means that you're the funny one. And so I think that sometimes I didn't want to tell people I'm a stand-up comedian, but I felt like I had to kind of feel cool in that sense.
I mean, that's where it all stemmed from, of like being in this quote unquote popular group in middle school, that like, what can I bring to the table? Funny for sure. And that was my identity for, you know, high school and middle school. For a long time. But at this point, especially when it comes to dating, it's just like, it's less of like, oh, I'm just like the funny fat friend, but it's just like, no, this is just like, I don't even know when it happened, but you just stop becoming like the funny fat friend, and now you're just like the stand-up comic.
Was everyone like, you're like America Ferrera?
Dude, so many people thought I was American. And I think
because like you were saying, like someone like, oh, you're like what's your face? Melissa McCarthy. Or I always got like, oh, when I was younger and had black hair, was like, oh, you look like Kelly Osbourne or Adele. You know what I mean? And I was like, dude, I think you're just naming fat people.
And all of my white friends' parents would be like, you look like America Ferrera, and I'm like, I think you're just naming another Hispanic person.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. I'd be like, no, you're just naming another fat person that's funny. Like, right, 100%.
Right. I used to get this so random.
So, okay.
You're like, these jeans fit me.
So I have like a sensitive question I ask. Feel free to be like, fuck you. I don't want to talk about that. But what are your thoughts on like pretty privilege and comedy?
Oh, that's such a great question. I think it's real. Like, absolutely. Not that like I see it in Chicago so much, but I think I see it in terms of like big celebrities, like the people that get chosen for stuff in Hollywood. It's like, oh, this person sucks, but they are hilarious. Or like, oh, like this male comic is like, everybody wants to fuck him, or he's like a pretty face. And I mean, it does go across both ways, guys and girls, but I see it a lot more in like, at like next level stuff, like Hollywood stuff, or like, you know, big festivals, stuff like that. When people are getting chosen for things like that, it's not a lot of quality content, and more of just like, and when the people who are, you know, not conventionally pretty do break through, everybody's like, can you believe it? And it's like, can you believe it?
Yeah.
I definitely think it's a thing. I think we're seeing it a lot too in stand-up, where there's this type of comedian that's like, I'm just going to describe her because there's like 100 of them.
Yeah.
They are like rail thin with like long brown hair and are just like, the crazy thing about me is that I'm disgusting.
Oh my God. Okay. No.
But if I say I'm disgusting, people are like, no, you're
Yeah.
not.
You're beautiful.
You're beautiful.
No.
And then there's like a type of like really, really mega buff guy that like doesn't have a joke, and his whole thing is just like,
Right. No, that's so accurate.
which is so funny, and I love it.
Can you describe that gesture for people who can't see it?
Yeah, the
What you just
gesture is
did.
just like leaning back and like licking your lips a lot, and
Yes,
and
the hand rub.
yeah, and the hand rub is, and he's just about to say, "Listen to my podcast." That's it. This guy's gonna go. You can actually find me on Spotify.
This guy's going, do you guys like impressions? Because
Are you guys in a relationship?
it's
up front?
when you said like it's a real.
Oh God, they all do crowd work.
ding, ding, ding.
When you said rail thin with brown hair, all I heard was like, I fart.
Yeah.
I'm not like other
farting.
girls.
Yeah. Everybody's like, she's so real. We love her for this.
Yeah.
So, and a big
exactly.
reason I bring it up too, because you're saying that you don't feel it so much locally, but you see it, higher up in the ranks. But I feel like I have felt it locally, and I know Susan and I have talked about this, where it's like, am I making this up in my head, or was it real? Because even though there's so many funny, hilarious women and non-men in the Chicago comedy community, it's still so much of what's being run is by all these guys, right? And I think when I first started comedy, I mean, I'll never forget one of the first open mics that I did, and I got brought up, there's someone who's unconventionally attractive. I mean, that like literally happened, and I just remember being like, what?
Do you remember who the host was? If you do, you tell me afterwards. Oh wait, or tell me now. Tell me now.
Well, I don't think he's
Faizan Hussein.
I think that is who it is.
I bet it was. He's canceled.
Okay, there you go. So
Yeah,
who cares?
it's fine.
But I just
For
was like,
saying stupid shit like that.
and like I know, like in my
Wow.
See, I'm like the old biddy in the corner that's just like, I've been here 100 years.
But like I do, and I think also like because I talk about my body a lot in my comedy, I feel like sometimes it's hard for me to get responses if I get one at all from certain rooms that are booked, predominantly by straight white men, and I'm like, okay, well they just want to fuck me, and that's why they're not booking me, because they're booking women who, I feel like I'm on the same level as, or like I've gotten same reactions, like, but but I'm like, am I making it up in my head?
Yeah.
Or is this real?
Yeah.
Or is it a little bit of both?
Yeah.
I try and like put tunnel vision on.
I know that's
It's so hard. It's so hard.
It's so hard because I'm like, I don't want to think about other women and what they get and how they get it.
And
because
also, if you got something by fucking someone, I actually don't really give a shit.
right.
Yeah.
But also I'm like, they have their own struggles too, and they probably don't get booked for things because of other reasons.
I'm
know?
also maybe gonna chime in to say that like I think that we have all dealt with so much rejection outside of comedy in general, and the anticipation of just like, well, you're going to tell me no because you see me this way.
Oh my God, yes.
Maybe-
no, that's so
Yes.
accurate.
Prevents us from putting ourselves out, like we were talking about earlier, like going on, putting ourselves on Instagram because we know, not to say like we're not submitting to everything all the time, but like just to keep on doing that even when there's no response, if that you're like, oh well, you're not doing this because this is how you see me, because this is how everybody sees me. I also will just say, just having run 100 shows for 100 years of my life in Chicago.
Are you a vampire?
I am, and it's so it's awful here. The amount of booking I get from men and the frequency of it is unparalleled, not just from plus size women, mid size women, skinny fat women, whatever all the other ones was. And men will send emails all the time. Not even just like what we think would be like a respectable, like once every couple of weeks I'll send you my updated avails and an updated clip, like unrelenting. And it's all men. So I think that's another thing to like come in to that mindset of like, I'm not bothering this person, I'm not being annoying, I'm putting myself out there. Even if it's been a no in the past times, it's not a no, it's a not right now. Even if I'm not getting responses to half the shows that I reach out to. What? But I'm like, I know it's illegal. Like if I reach out to a show and they don't respond, I'm like, okay, next time.
Yeah.
Like, and then I'll send another clip another time. And if they say no, it's not until they're like, bitch, stop sending me a clip that I'm just like loud and clear. What else am I going to do?
What good positive reframe you have.
It takes a lot. That's from doing stand up for 10 years, like a long time.
Also, I found the same exact thing from producing. I literally tell men, do not reach out to me because you already have. You've probably already been in my DMs asking me for a spot. Yeah. And it's like, I've done this example on Facebook before where I'm like, this is what a woman sends me and this is what a man sends me. A woman is always like, hey, look, I'm so sorry to bother you. And I do this too. I literally still do this. I'm so sorry to bother you. I know you're so busy, but I was wondering if maybe you can, like, maybe if I can, like, get a spot. And then, but thank you so much. Again, I'm really sorry for, like, sending you this message unprompted. And then this is what men send. Hey, my name's Matt. Here's my clip.
Let me get a spot.
Yeah, can I get a spot? And you're like...
I feel like, and I respect Matt.
Yeah.
It is. It's just like, and as a booker, not to be like I'm booking Matt because I want to fuck him, but anyway, that like to just and I tell like my students this too of just like, hey, would love to do the show sometime. Here's my clip. If there's a better way to submit, let me know.
Yeah.
Like start with a message on Instagram or Facebook, and always send a fucking clip. When don't get me started. I was just had a hitch in my giddy up earlier today because I got 2 different messages with no clips, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm not going to do the extra work. But anyway, like to send a clip and be like, if there's a better way that you want me to respond, not on an Instagram message, let me know. I'll do that. I'll do whatever the fuck you want. You want a letter in the mail? Let's go. Like, I think that's what a lot of people, and especially women, see it as being annoying or like intrusive or like, oh, can I have a little spot? It's like,
I'm going to send you a DM after this.
Let's go.
I'm just going to be like, here's my clip.
Bitch. Yeah, and I'll be like, see my email.
Yes. So before we come to a close, because I feel like we're getting to that point, right? Yes. How do you feel in your skin today? Because you come off like a very confident, like self-assured person.
Thank you.
And I can't speak for everyone else, but I'm always like, damn, Deanna is funny and hot. Oh my God.
We can have it
true.
all.
We can have it all. And so I'm just curious, like, is it still a struggle for you as often as it was when you were younger?
Not as much as it was when I was younger. Thank God. I wouldn't be able to get a damn thing done. But it is still a struggle. But I think it also helps having like to reframe it and be like, this is my body today. It's different than my body yesterday, and it'll be different than my body tomorrow. And
it deserves love.
Yeah.
And care
that,
and respect.
And at the end of it, it's just like, I'm just here to, I'm just putting clothes that fit on. Like, that's all I got to do. At the end of the day, like, I want to look cute in clothes that fit. But I still have so much anxiety over everything. Like, God, this is so not related at all. But I literally... we might have. This can't be the video that we choose, though.
Okay.
I was walking down the street with my sister, and I ran into this guy that, like, I had a little baby crush on. Sorry, so sue me. And I was like, said hi, whatever, and then we turned around and kept walking, and my sister's like, who was that? And I was like, we can't talk about it now. And she's like, you're beat red. And I went, no. And then I was in my head for the rest of the fucking day. I was sending texts to my friends. I went to Target to smell candles in an emergency. I was like, I need to do this now. From a 30-minute talk that I had with this person who I met one time, and I'm just like, I can't do. I'm like sending red alerts to my friends that's just like, I'm not wearing any makeup and these jeans are bad jeans. Like,
these are bad jeans.
Literally, because they weren't good jeans, and I was just like, I don't even look cute today. I'm wearing a baseball hat.
Little did you know that they don't give a fuck, and you're just hot as hell.
And I was just like, I'm not wearing any makeup. And then I walked away, and my sister was like, you're beat red. And I was like, oh God, no. So I still feel so much anxiety over almost every single thing that ever happens in my life. But I think to come at it with a little bit more like, okay, I feel good about myself. I know that I'm like trying at least to be healthy or be like kind to myself is a little bit easier, because I can't be at a 10 with anxiety and then a 10 with like my body image. I gotta even it out somewhere.
Totally.
No, 100%. I think that I finally accepted that I'm just going to fluctuate throughout my whole life, and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Well, Deanna, God, it's been so fun to talk to you.
fun.
I kind of wish we could talk for like another hour, but
No, this was wonderful. Thank you so much
fun.
for being on
Thanks
Thanks for having me, guys. This was so
please, everyone out there, please do not forget to follow her at what? Say it again, baby.
At Deanna Ortiz _.
And you can follow me at Ball Out Comedy on Instagram.
And you can follow me at _palm_faced. Also give Big Bitch Energy Pod a follow on Instagram as well.
Yes. And don't forget, we're at the Lincoln Lodge almost every week now. Let's go.
Oh my God. Hell yeah. And you know, I hope that you had fun with us today, Deanna.
I did, yes.
Any final words for the big bitches listening?
Oh, we love the big bitches.
We love it, the big bitches. Hey, that's it. That's it, baby. That's cake.
Signing off.
Let them eat cake. Big bitch energy.
Big bitch energy.